Well, hi there, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel, Naga Konada's Dev Tips. This is the second video of a four-part video tutorial in which we're talking about image upload functionality using plain JavaScript in the front end and NodeJS in the back end. Let's get started. Well, here we are in the index file, and this is having the traditional HTML5 markup boilerplate, and we're including a couple of style sheets and then three JS files. First style sheet is related to Bootstrap, and the style.css is our custom styles that we're going to have a look at in a moment. And then coming to the bottom, just above the closing body tag, we have jQuery included, and then the Bootstrap bundle min.js file. This actually contains both the Bootstrap related JavaScript and also something called Popper.js. Both are coming as part of this bundle, and we're including jQuery. So we're also including the client.js file, which we're going to look at in the upcoming videos. Coming up, we have this section. We have a head tag, as we saw in the demo in the previous video, and then we have a form, which has an ID, and there is an input field of type file, which is required for us to actually upload files. And then it is wrapped around by a label, and there is some text that says click here to upload or drag and drop an image. And then we have a couple of p tags with which are hidden at the moment, but they are actually used to show any error messages or success messages based on the action on the file. And then we have an upload button, and the button type is submit. So when this button is clicked, this form gets submitted, and we can listen to that submit event. And there is a link that says clear, and when we click on that, any images that are previewed or selected can be cleared, and it'll be as good as new. A couple of other things. So we're actually hiding this input tag using CSS, and the reason behind that is that we want just a generic section, circular section with a dotted border and a gray background, not the traditional input field for the file type that we generally see if you don't have any styles applied to it. The reason we are hiding it is because the input field is rendered differently in different browsers, and we don't want that different experience for each browser. We want a general circular area where we want to click and add an image or drag and drop an image, and also that area should be big enough for us to drag and drop and also preview the same image being dragged and dropped on the same area. So the other thing is that we're also using an accept parameter or a property here, which allows us to filter the types of files that we see when we click on the label, which will actually open the file explorer, and then it'll filter those files based on the types included here. So in this case, we're using only PNG and JPEG types. So it's going to filter and show only those types. But it will not prevent users from uploading different file types. And that is why we had the validations for the file types and file sizes, which we saw in the demo. And we're going to go through that in the next section. And also notice that we do not have the multiple attribute here. So we're only expecting one file to be uploaded at a time, and multiple will not be accepted. And if user tries to select multiple items using some other way, by maybe manipulating this input field using the console, we are having the validation to actually check if multiple files are being uploaded and reject the selection if that is the case. And also this for attribute on the label is very important, because clicking on the label section, which is that circular area, is actually going to trigger the action on the input field only because we have this for attributes value to match with the ID attribute of that input field. So we don't have to put the input field inside the label. We can put it anywhere, because as long as the for is pointing to the correct input field, it's going to work fine. But we're just putting it inside so that it'll look neat and clear. So that's all about the markup. Let's have a look at the custom stylings that we did. Well, even a superhero needs a haircut, right? So even though we're using Bootstrap, we do not want to expect Bootstrap to take care of all our stylings out of the box, right? So we're going to have to do some custom CSS changes or formatting for us to actually see our desired view, right? Okay, so that is what we're doing here. So we're not relying on Bootstrap heavily, and we're only using Bootstrap to style the button and give a class container to the body so that the fonts are applied properly coming from Bootstrap, the Bootstrap related fonts. And we're having the button classes like this, btn, btn-lg, btn primary, to give that big blue color button to give that styling. And all these font styles are coming from Bootstrap, but you can easily include other fonts and don't have to go with Bootstrap at all. Okay, so let's talk about the form. So the form has an ID, the image form, and I'm using display flex, the flexbox concept, to actually align the form to the center of the screen and also give it a column direction. And that's what I'm doing here. And I'm aligning the items to the center and giving a margin top 50 so that the H1 tag comes a little below. And this image container is nothing but the label. Okay, so the ID of the label is image container. So this is where all the bulk of the styling is present, and the circular dotted area is coming because of this. Two important properties here. One is the cursor pointer, because we want the user to feel as if they're clicking on something and some action is going to happen based on that click. So if you give cursor pointer, it's going to give that hand symbol there. And overflow hidden is the other one. This is because when you preview the image, we want the edges or the extra part of the image to be hidden behind that circular area. We don't want that to overlap and show above the circular area. So we're just saying overflow hidden, because when we add the image tag, we're going to add it inside the label so that it becomes a child, and this overflow hidden will actually take effect. And to hide the image field, we're using display none. And then for the error message and success messages, we're giving a font family, which we do not have to do because Bootstrap is already doing that. But we just want to give a different font just for the sake of demo purpose. And then the error message is in red color and success message is in green color. And the preview image has an ID of image tag. We don't yet have that image. We're going to dynamically create that image based on as and when the file is selected. And this image, we want to absolutely position it. We can use Flexbox to center it within the label, but to prove the point that there are other ways to center an element, I'm just using the second method, that is using left and transform translate X to actually center that horizontally. And you can center vertically using top and transform translate Y to -50% as well to actually center that based on the Y axis as well. So I'm using these properties to actually center the element on the circular area. And then that is why we had position relative for the label so that the absolute properties can take effect. And there is a class hide, which will actually hide the section, and we use this hide class on the paragraphs. You can see the class hide already there, so they're by default hidden. And if there is an error message or a success message, we're going to populate these paragraphs and remove the hide class to show them. And then the last one is a class called dragging, which we will apply on the image container. And that happens when the user is dragging, as we saw in the demo. When the file is actually held on the circular section, we're changing the border color to green for that section. And then the width is going to be 10 pixels for the border, and we're reducing the opacity to 30%. Well, that's it with the front-end UI part. In the next upcoming video, we're going to have a look at the front-end JavaScript part, and all the bulk of the functionality is all written in that file, and we're going to have a look at that in the next one. Thanks for watching this one, and do subscribe to my channel for more such tutorials and tips and tricks, and if you missed the previous videos, I will leave the links to those videos in the description below. I will create a playlist so that you can go through them one by one, and see you in the next video.